Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally, and today I have an amazing mirror makeover. If you are new to Farmhouse Frugally, welcome. On this channel, you will see a number of crafts, some furniture flips, amazing dump hauls, and trash to treasures from those same items. Last year, my husband brought me home this mirror from the dump, and it weighs quite a lot. It's clearly an antique, and it had some kind of a varnish, which I believe somebody had done a gold leaf to, probably many, many years ago, but it was flaking over really badly. So I put on a mask and took my sander and sanded off the large flakes, and then had my husband bring it upstairs into our home. It is 100 degrees this week here, so I wanted to paint inside the house. Now, I am not a fan of these little bows on the four corners. I do like the gold leaf, but not quite so much. And I thought I would keep the brown frame itself, which appears to be a very heavy wood. So what I'm doing here is trying a crackle finish because I thought I would like to see the gold leaf peek through, but I wanted a different color, so I want to use this just Elmer's glue. And you put it on fairly liberally and try not to backstroke too much. Just get it on there kind of thickly so that you can just cover that. If you ever want to try this crackle finish, this is a much less expensive way to get a crackle finish without, buying a crackle medium. The thing of Elmer's glue, the dollar store, $1.25. So once I get that on fairly liberal, now the more glue you put under it, I think the more it's going to crackle. And the thinner it is put on, the less it's going to crackle. I was kind of looking for a medium crackle here, nothing too major. So once I got that completely done, now if you use a medium, a crackle medium, you have to let it dry. If you use Elmer's glue or some kind of school glue, you want to paint it right away while the glue is still wet. So this is a bare sample paint that you can get at their counter. And this is the color that I chose because the opposite of gold is blue, and I wanted to have kind of either a blue or a green paint, I thought, maybe covering this. I definitely was trying to cover those four bows, but not go too crazy. Now, if you're going to paint, I had washed my brush in between. Now, again, you want to go very thickly, one coat, and you want to go over the glue without backstroking too many times. You can always come back with a wet paper towel or a diaper wipe or a rag or something and wipe up anything that, like I hit the edges and I just cleaned it up afterward once I got that on there. And that's really all there is to it for this crackle medium. You can take a heat gun or hair dryer to aid in that speeding up, but like I said, it's 100 degrees this week here, so the last thing I wanted to do was add heat. I have the AC going, so it did take overnight for me to get really the full crackle that I was looking for. So you can see how especially toward the edges, a lot of that gold is still peeking through, and I had cleaned up the brown frame because I did want to keep that. And this is still a little wet here. And then once it's completely dry, you can see how much more it crackled. And I absolutely love this look. But of course, this blue is a tad too blue for what I have in mind for this to be antique looking. So once that is completely dry, then I went on to Graphics Fairy. And I printed some graphics off that I liked, and I ripped them by hand around the edges, and then just taking Mod Podge, I went ahead and applied the Mod Podge to the back. I don't want it, even though it says matte finish, I really don't want that shiny look, so I'm trying to just put the bulk of the Mod Podge on the back of the rice paper. So I just printed this right onto rice paper with my regular inkjet printer, and then once I did that, I just applied that directly onto where I wanted it on the mirror. Now, after that is applied, I did go ahead and add another coat of Mod Podge on the top of the rice paper to make sure it was well adhered, but very careful not to get a lot of the glue, as I said, on the outside edge of this piece, just so that it doesn't have a shiny, appearance to it. And then once I did that in one corner, I did that also in another corner, the opposite corner, to have that look like it is like some branches with some pine cones. Now here you can see the backdrop of this artwork is a little too white cream in nature and pops a little too much off the mirror, but that's fine because I had every intention of putting some antiquing wax over this whole thing and getting it definitely more antique looking. So once this is fully done, and I did this to 3 out of the 4 corners, I used artwork, and all of that can be found on Graphics Fairy. After a few minutes, I went ahead and I buffed off the bulk of the antiquing wax to just get that to sink in. It actually made the gold pop a little bit more, which was surprising. Cleaned up the brown wooden edges and dulled down the blue to make it definitely look more antique, as well as the artwork. Now, it got a little too dark in some places, so I took a clear wax, and if I felt like it was too dark anywhere, then I went ahead and just used some of that as, it's almost like an eraser. It doesn't erase it all, but it dulls it down. Now, if you don't want it to be too dark like this to begin with, you can actually put a clear wax on it first, and then go ahead and put a dark wax on it afterward, and then you might have to add more dark wax, but at least that way you can be sure not to get too much. Once the entire surface is completely covered in wax, and you can let that dry overnight, then this is what it looks like. I love, love, love the blue with the gold. I love the bird in one of the corners. I love the antiquing wax dulling down that blue, and overall for me, I just really think that it came out just much nicer. Now, I know some of you are going to be very disappointed that I painted over the old-fashioned gold leaf, but trust me, that was a lot of varnish and a lot of flaking. I really had to do something with it. And for me personally, just not a fan of those 4 bow looking things. So they're sufficiently hidden. They're not completely hidden, but I absolutely love it. You will have to let me know in the comments what you think about this. And this will definitely be something that I will sell, since it is not in the neutral farmhouse style that I typically do. But let me know. And here it is once again, before. And then here it is after. So I would love it if you would like to support this channel, if you would leave a comment to let YouTube know that you enjoy these videos. If you would like to support me in any other way, sharing this video, subscribing would be absolutely wonderful. Or if you like, buy me a coffee, which I actually probably won't spend on coffee, I'll spend on paint, in the description box. So thank you for stopping by. I will see you in the next one. Take care.